Good morning. Today we're going to talk about your Bushwacker 10HD. Going to kind of walk around the outside of it here and look at different aspects of it all, and then take a look on the inside. Starting outside on your roof, you always want to examine that roof, make sure everything's good and tight up there, up around your luggage racks. They use a sealant up there called Dicor, and around your antenna. It's a white self-leveling caulk. Everything else up there along the edges and stuff will be silicone. You want to make sure that you always keep it nice and tight so that you don't have any kind of leak issues or anything like that. These lights on the outside, there's one here and one on the other side, are turned on by the switch right here by the door. Got to step up to get inside the unit as well. The door windows, basically it's locked that position, that unlocks it, allows you to then raise the window, otherwise lock it. It's got a little screen on it. You've got a set of keys in here that is for both of these cylinders. They're identical. One's for the top lock, and this was the bolt lock. The bolt lock itself is this guy, and you got the same thing on the other side. You'll have a matched set of keys for that. You have a 20-pound propane tank up front. Basically, one little turn and a half or so will turn this on. You have a 12-volt deep cycle marine style battery up here. Basically, anytime that you're hooked to your tow vehicle or plugged into shore power, it's going to be trickle charging the battery and everything. Just so long as make sure that your tow vehicle does have a legit 12-volt coming through the 7-way back to it. This is your 7-way connector right here. Basically, whenever you connect this, I always recommend highly that you turn your tow vehicle off anytime you're plugging this in or unplugging it, so you don't get a little surge between the two, and pop the fuse underneath the hood of your tow vehicle. You crisscross your chains and hook it to your vehicle. It also has an emergency breakaway cable right here. This emergency breakaway cable is designed to be used like a carabiner. You hook a carabiner to this and hook this to your vehicle, kind of like your chains are. You want this to be a clean pull. Shouldn't be wrapped around your chains, looped through your chains, or anything like that, in case it actually needed to be used. You lock your hitch down on your ball, and then you could put a pin through there to lock it down and make sure it doesn't come out. Your jack in the front here is a manual crank. Like I said, you do have one battery. It looks like you do have room. If you wanted to even put a second battery on here, you could do that as well. Over here behind this door, you will find your tire pressure information and your VIN information and everything on your unit as well. This little plug down here on the bottom, that's for a solar panel. If you decide you want to put a solar panel on here to actually help trickle charge your battery, if you were like off the grid type camping as well. The locks here are going to work the same as they do on the other side, and it also has the screen door and the light up above, which turns on and off with the switch over there. And it has a step bumper. Over here on this side, this is where you're going to put your freshwater fill at, your hose. Just stick your hose in there, fill it up till it comes out the overflow, and then turn it off and remove the hose. Right down here where this blue hose is, drop down, there is a valve on the other side that opens up, and that's how you drain your freshwater tank. Typically, you don't carry water with you and you don't bring it home with you. Your power cord plugs into here. This is your 30-amp power cord. It's plugged in back here in the back. That is yours. They do make a dog bone too that will allow you to plug this into a 30 to 15 amp plug, and that way you can plug it into a 15 amp plug at home or something to help keep your battery charged and stuff. It's not highly recommended that you run your air conditioner on a 15 amp. You might get away with it more on a 20 amp or something. Just watch what you're powering on the unit. You know, don't have a whole bunch of lights and heaters and everything on inside. Limit how much is going on. This air conditioner is basically like a window air conditioner that you could put in your home. You do have a wrench in the front storage area there, up in this area up here, that is used for these stabilizer jacks. These stabilizer jacks are exactly that. They're there for stabilization only. They're not for leveling your camper or anything. When you back your camper up, you're going to level it using your wheels to get it left to right. Use your power jack to get it front to rear. And once you've got all that done, then you can drop your stabilizers down. That stabilizer wrench is also used to drop your spare tire on the far side there. Up in the back little kitchenette area here, this is going to be your left burner and your right burner. You got the propane on. All you're going to do is simply strike it, and it's lit right now. And then turn it back to off. It has that little click you're doing. It's basically lighting the burner is what you're doing. It's always good to have a lighter with you just in case something were to happen to the striker, which is this white thing right here, because you could always light your burners that way too as well. The switch right here is for your water pump, which allows you to then, say for example, take this quick connect, push this down, plug it into there, and you got a little spray hose here on it too to be able to pump some water for anything you might need it for. And you got a plug here, but any water that basically goes out of here doesn't go into a tank or anything. It's just going into a hose that hangs down underneath here. So you might, if it's dirty, nasty water, you might want to stick a bucket under it just to capture it. If you're not wanting that kind of stuff in your sight, if you want to wash some dishes or such. In a lot of campgrounds, they have a little place that you can dump buckets and stuff like that at. This is your starter kit that's in here. You do have a GFI outlet here. If you lost power 110 somewhere or outside here, check your GFI. It might have tripped. You got a 12 volt like cigarette plug that you can use appliances for. And there's your keys right up there on the ledge. Your radio that plays on the inside plays off of these speakers here as well. Whenever you aren't traveling, you also want to make sure that you always put this lid down. You do have two lights underneath of here with little push buttons right in the center that you can turn those on and off and use them as you need them. There's basically a cooler right here. And this is a sewer hose that you can use. I'm not sure why they have a sewer hose on a Bushwacker, because there is no sewer connection that I'm aware of, because the gray water goes out. There is no toilet, so that's kind of an oversight on their part a little bit when they got this ready. So really that's won't end up staying in here because it's not really needed. Again, this is just a cooler. It has, try to see here, nice little carrying strap. It doesn't have any power to it or anything. It's just really a big cooler to try to keep things cold. When you do close up, you come up here and grab this, and you can pull this down, latch her down, and then make sure that these latch, and you can lock them as well. So up here, that right there is going to be your antenna for radio and TV. There's vents for any kind of plumbing. You do have a hatch right there that opens up on top. That is your exhaust fan, and you'll see that when you get inside here. You do also have a propane connection right here that will allow you to run propane devices over here, a little cook stove or some other kind of device or what off of propane if you so chose. It runs off of the propane up front. The connection right there, that's basically where you're going to drop your spare tire down, and then your spare tire's underneath of there as well. Looking inside of here, as you can see, I have the AC running right now. These lights on the ceilings are manual control, just like the lights right here in this over the bed area is also. There is your wrench right there for your stabilizers and your spare tire. You got fire extinguisher in here. Smoke detector up there, runs off a 9 volt. Your LP carbon monoxide detectors here, that runs off of the house battery. You do have 110 power here. and there is your cable antenna connection. There's a little push button just to the right of that that turns the power booster on to the antenna. So you always want to make sure that you have that on. When you turn that on, you'll see a little green light light up. And that's so that you can run an antenna off of it. Got an AM, FM, Bluetooth player right there above it. They're saying you can put a little TV backer there to possibly get a little TV on there. This is your cold air return for your furnace. This is your furnace exhaust right here. Another 110 outlet, that box right over there. You push the top, the lid drops down. That's where your 110 set, 110 breakers you can reset, and also where your 12-volt fuses are located. The air conditioners are pretty much standard, like window air conditioner, has set points up on the top for how cold you want it to be, and the different settings that you can choose to run your your air conditioner as well. You're over here on this side. This is where your manuals and things are located in here. This is your furnace control. When you push it all the way to the left, it's off. Anything over to the right starts turning on, and as you go farther and farther, that's a higher set point. So when you bring this all the way back to where it clicks back, that's totally off. So that's how you run your furnace. And then this switch right here is that switch that's going to turn these lights on and off out here and over there on the other side as well. You do have underneath the bunk area, the bed area here, you have storage under here. Goes all the way across, and you can raise the other side up the same way to be able to store things underneath it here. Your exhaust fan up here on top, basically you take this knob here and crank it around. That raises the dome. It does have a solenoid switch in it, so if you have the fan engaged on in the 1, 2, or 3 speed, and it does have an inline fuse on it, as soon as you open that up enough on that handle and raise that vent lid up, it will kick on the fan and you can run it. Basically it's an exhaust fan, so it's kind of like, well, if you had the windows open to the doors and had the exhaust fan on, it would kind of draw air into the camper and up, so it kind of act as a vent if it was a situation where you didn't want to run the AC at night, but you wanted to run the fan to pull the cooler night air in, because maybe you were just off the grid type thing. You could do that. Just again, watch your 12 volt that you don't use it all up. It only goes 1 speed, and that's, or it goes 3 speeds, but it goes 1 direction, and that's up. Also, you always want to take into account anytime that's open, if it rains with that vent open, the rain can come in through the vent. So they do make a max air vent cover that you can put over top of that will allow you to raise that dome up inside the max air vent cover, and rain won't be able to come in. So if it was an evening where it was raining outside, but you needed to get some air movement going through here, you could turn the exhaust fan on, raise that dome up, and you wouldn't have to worry about rain coming inside, because it's like a cover over the top of your dome. So it's kind of a nice addition to have. It's called a max air vent cover. Other than that, I think that's just about it on here. If you have any questions, of course, feel free to give us a call, and we'll be happy to answer any questions that you got. I just want to double check over on this LP carbon monoxide detector. That guy, the smoke's running on a 9 volt. This guy's running off of your in-house battery. So if by chance your in-house battery was getting low and this started chirping, that's an indication that your battery is getting low, and that's why it's doing that, because it does run off your house battery. So just know that. That is why that might do that. Other than that, have any other questions, feel free to give us a call. Be happy to answer any questions you got. Thanks, and have a great day.